Hello, friends. Welcome back, and a happy Thanksgiving to everyone celebrating that here in the United States today. This is lucky video number 7 of our 10-part series on perma creativity, which is, of course, how permaculture maps to creative flow. In this video, we're going to be talking about the principle of iterate and apply self-regulation and accept feedback. Now, last week, we talked about collaborate. Collaborate is so important. Humans are pack animals. We are not designed to work in isolation. We need an entire ecosystem. If we try to do the work of that entire ecosystem all on our own, guess what's going to happen? We are going to be miserable. We are going to burn out. So, this is why collaborate comes before iterate, because we need feedback from our collaborators in order to do our best possible work. Because here's the thing, how can you know what your audience values until you ask them for feedback? And if you don't know what your audience values, how can you create value for them? That's not going to work very well. So this is why when we step out of ourselves, when we ask our collaborators and get those diverse perspectives, see through the eyes of our audience, that's how we know what requires iteration, how we can make things even better next time to create an even better yield for ourselves and for our audience. Now, in permaculture, feedback comes mainly in the form of observable results, which brings us right back to the first principle: observe and interact. You can go back to video 1 to watch more about that. But the more we observe, the more feedback we get. And the more feedback we get, the more we can interact with our environment to make it even more useful. So the better we are able to self-regulate, the more we can produce a yield, which is principle number 3. So many of the permaculture principles rest on this one essential energy: iterate. This is what keeps the cycle moving. Every time we do something, we're observing, we're interacting, we're observing, we're interacting, we're iterating every single time. So the same is true of your creative cycle. Evaluation and iteration are essential not just to produce the best value for your audience, but to create a creative process that really works for you. This is how we dial it in. Because the more you enjoy your creative process, the more likely you are to show up for it. And the more you show up for your creative process, the more you can accomplish. Not just can, will. The more you will accomplish. This is why I bang so hard on this drum of processivity rather than productivity. Because if you're focusing on your process, you will be amazed at the outcomes that you will get. If you surrender those outcomes and just keep showing up for your process, you will get some great stuff. Trust me. I see this all the time in my clients. I see this in my own self. You have so much within you, and just by continually showing up with enthusiasm to your process, that's how it gets done. Now, getting feedback from your audience, it's a lot like when we try to reintroduce megafauna into an area that is being desertified. Okay, when we bring in those large groups of animals, it's biomimicry. We mimic how nature works. But you need that large group of animals grazing, aerating the soil, and fertilizing as they migrate. Otherwise, if you have a smaller group, it can actually do more damage than good, which is what we started to see when small groups of farmers and migrants were moving around with their farm animals. We started to see more desertification. And so now we're trying to reintroduce larger groups of megafauna and keep them moving. Likewise, when you try to get market research, you're going to need a large group of people. If you have too small of a group, here's what's going to happen. Oh, I like this. Well, I like the exact opposite. Oh, no, I totally disagree with you. I think this is the best thing. You're just going to get people arguing or just telling you completely opposite things that makes you go, I don't know which direction to go in now. That's because you need a larger pattern. You need to zoom out and be able to see the overall patterns in the data. And that's what gives you actionable information so you can make an informed decision about what direction to go in next. Ask yourself, and keep on asking of yourself and of your audience, what's working? How can I celebrate that? And celebrate it in a way that's really meaningful for you, not for anybody else. What's not working as well? How can I iterate on that? What can I do differently? Try changing one thing at a time. Move one lever up and down at one time. Otherwise, you won't know what really made the difference, and you will get overwhelmed trying to do too many things at once. How can you integrate that knowledge, that learning, into your routine? How can you make it easy and enjoyable to keep doing the things that are working for you and stop doing the things that are not working so well for you? Where is the greatest need? Where are you seeing a real need, and how can you really focus and hone in on serving that particular need? And remember, just like we talked about in video 2, micro shifts. Make small changes, small, slow solutions. Remember, that's what works best. Make one small change at a time. Observe the results. Observe, interact, observe, repeat. That's how it works. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving celebration. Really feel that gratitude, 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 gratitude. We have to start from where we are, embrace what is. And so the more gratitude we can have for what we already have, the more we can get. Next week, we'll be talking about one of my favorites, celebrate, oh yeah, using edges and the marginal, how to celebrate. I'll see you then.